Alright, so I will start as a support mech. Who do I have as a... Ramos, do you mind being the punching bag?
No, that's fine.
Okay, and then who wants to be the brawler? How quick is your Uziel to goss? Is it reasonably quick?
It's probably 97.
That'll work. Alright, I'm going to put Ramos in there since he's the punching bag. Alright, so I will start as a support mech. Who do I have as a... Ramos, do you mind being the punch... I just started the Twitch feed. I was like, who's talking over me? It sounds like me. And then I'm like, oh, the sound's not muted on Twitch. Alright, so Ramos is the punching bag, so he's red. Degas is my buddy, so he'll be the Uziel. Make everybody else red. There we go. Alright, we'll do River City, since that's a good place to demonstrate. Well, let me think about that. Let's do...
Because it's Nightmare's favorite map.
Actually, Mining Collective is my favorite. Let's do Mining Collective. I'm thinking it's got a good platform. It's reasonably close. You don't have to trek too far.
The brawling map.
It's got good topography.
River City, I get a lot of clipping on mine, I think.
Okay, I'll avoid River City then. No stock loadouts. Beautiful teams. Alright, I think we are set. Launching now. Don't shoot each other. Let's just meet in the center, first of all. We want to pick a couple places that have different terrain. This is nice because you have lots of different elevations and barrels and stuff. Makes a good stadium to practice this, I think.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online.
My ping's looking
All
shiny
systems
today.
Nominal.
Nice.
Of course, you know, the other team has better ping than mine, but for me it's good.
Let's meet up in the center, the central platform.
10-4.
I think 60% deeper counter strike. Ouch. Excuse me. So my Challenger SRT8 is going to cost me right about $4,000 to get it fixed.
User joined your channel.
Hey Willie, welcome to the.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the training night. I had a semi do some damage to it, and now I've got to get it repainted. I'm gonna
Oh.
repaint most of it. I got to find out how much it would cost to repaint the whole thing, but it looks like it's $4,000 just to do the damages. Insurance will cover most of it, though, so that's good.
That's good.
Fortunately, it wasn't a collision.
Hopefully your deductible's low.
Yeah, 500. It's not too bad. Alright, so once everybody's up here, here we go. Willie, do you want to join us for training night? Willie.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I was offering, do you want to join us for training night? We just dropped. If you want, we can drop lobby and pick you up and then drop again.
Yeah, I'll join.
Okay, awesome. We're going to go ahead and drop, guys, because otherwise we'll make Willie sit there for 20 minutes. And we'll pick him up and launch again.
No problem.
Alright, just hit the quit match button. Or no, wait, don't log out yet. Everybody still in?
Yep.
I forgot. If you do that, then what it does, it boosts you out of the lobby. Go ahead and just kill each other real fast.
Acquired.
What's the theme tonight?
Brawling and how to support them. If you're not a brawler yourself.
Heat level critical.
25% of the enemies are eliminated. We're taking critical losses. We need you to pull through.
Not
destroyed.
We've almost got them all.
New
Clean up the
target
survivors. Command to ground forces. We're detecting no more hostiles. Good job, soldiers.
Good fight. I knifed you in the back studio. If I known they were going to gang up on you, I wouldn't have done that. I'd have come and joined you.
No worries, I just decided I wouldn't fight so that I would die faster. Were you the one that was standing in the middle and we all obliterated? Yeah, that was me, yeah. Oh.
Poor studio. I feel guilty now. He was right there. I was like, ooh, perfect shot. Boom. I was like,
I know, and I opened up on him too before I got taken out.
I was like, I'll run down the length of the buildings, turn the corner, and shoot again. And when I turn the corner, I was like, oh, the guy's standing there getting wailed on. I feel really bad now.
Yeah, I started shooting them too. I couldn't help myself.
It's the hell, everybody's scared of it because of the heavy lasers that they tend to pack. Although you use the ER larges, right, Studio?
Yes, I do, ERs.
10-4. Let me send Willie an invite here. Invite sent. We got a lot of people online. 6 of us in TeamSpeak. 9 people in game. Come on, people, get in TeamSpeak. We're all here. Alright, so once everybody ready's up, I'll punch it. Alright, same deal, meet central platform, nobody shoots yet. And what we'll do is we'll do a push up onto the platform, and like what to expect when you get into a brawl, because that happens. We'll do, if you're fighting like in the open off to the side of the platform, and then we'll go to the other side where there's the barrels, and we'll do like in the barrels if they got cover. And then what we might do is we might move to another side of the stadium and do some of the different areas where you can maneuver a bit more, but everybody's on level ground, kind of a thing. Sound good?
Roger that.
Roger that.
Yep.
All right. And
Yep,
one
good.
person will be the punching bag, one person will be the brawler, and then I'll play the supporter. Basically, the brawler and the punching bag are going to maneuver just like they're actually brawling. And I'll shoot with one laser so I don't obliterate them, and
Sensors online.
demonstrate, how to
Weapons
effectively
online.
fight as a support mech, helping
All
to protect
systems
that brawler.
nominal.
This is command. Eliminate all enemies, no matter the cost.
All right, here we go. This Warhammer is the 6D. It runs 7 medium lasers and 2 large pulse. A lot of firepower.
Don't you get ghost heat?
Yeah, it does have ghost heat if I alpha strike. 60% heat when I alpha strike. But I've got it set up on 3 different triggers. 1 trigger for 4 medium lasers, 1 trigger for 3, and 1 trigger for the 2 large pulse. And then the last 2 triggers are all chain fire triggers. So I can fire single lasers or I can fire group lasers, so I can avoid ghost heat entirely. In fact, if you notice when I was fighting just then, I was triggering medium, large pulse like that, and it was to avoid the ghost heat. I did have to dump 2 cool shots though. It was we got hot. Basically, I've got 2 triggers that each do 20 points of pinpoint damage, and 1 trigger that does 15 points of pinpoint damage.
Do you lose your consumables in this lobby type game?
Yes, any consumables you use in lobby are deducted from your C-bill coffers when you get out. Your bank account replenishes them if you have the box checked. All right. So Ramos volunteered to be our punching bag. He's a nice, big, strong, heavy. And DeGoss volunteered to be our brawler. So they're going to maneuver like they're brawling in the center. And I'll show what it's like when you are supporting that. So everybody, if you want to line up over there. And then Ramos, if you want to stand here in the middle. And then DeGoss, if you follow me back down the ramp. We're going to come up over the ramp like we're pushing in. Of course, the roles are slightly reversed. Generally, you'd have a heavy pushing first, but the purpose of the demonstration, it'll work for that.
Wait,
Right?
am I confused?
Everybody talked at once. Go ahead. I didn't catch it.
Am I supposed to be with you guys?
Oh no, you can stand at the far end. You guys are gonna observe, and or if you want, you can sit right there. That works too. Just find a spot on the edge, and we're gonna push up, the 2 of us,
Target acquired.
and then Degas is going to move in on Ramus like they're brawling, and I'm going to demonstrate what I would do as a support mech if I was supporting Ramus. Does that make sense? Or Degas, I mean, sorry. I'm talking to Willie while looking at Ramus about Degas. That doesn't work out with
Do you want me to just stay stationary, or do you want me to move?
You can move once we start coming up the ramp. I mean, you can start moving. If you guys want, you can fire single lasers at each other, like one laser at a time to demonstrate, so you guys kind of know what each other's doing. And I'll fire one laser as well. But I expect you guys to both maneuver once we go up the ramp. Everybody set?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to talk through it as we go. Degas, you ready?
Yep.
All right, go ahead and punch it. We both move up together. So we're going up. We both come up. I would fire one laser at the Black Knight. They would start brawling. What I would do is I would cut to the side. And while they're brawling, I would try to find a spot myself where I could have some cover, like right here in the buildings. I would continue to fire. You want to make sure you have line of shot, whatever. You don't want to clip like I just did. So while the two of them are brawling, I would keep shooting, and you're trying to hit the same part. Ramus, as the defender, is trying to shield against two attackers. So he's going to keep on doing that while they're fighting and fighting and fighting. And I'm going to keep trying to hit that same CT, or if I get the chance, the rear torso, for example. And as a supporter, what you can also do, if they're brawling, you can also cut down a side, like I can cut down here. Let's say they're brawling, the fight looks even, or they're both hot and they can't really go at it too much. You can use that lull to reposition for a better vantage point. So I could turn and run down the length of the building, pop out the side in a different spot, try to get a better angle, so to speak. You could do it on the other side over there where I'm shooting. If you got jump jets like Willie, you could always jump up on the building. That gives you a great vantage point. Personally, on this terrain, if I had jump jets, I would get over there. You guys can stop maneuvering now if you want. So personally, I would get up there if I had jump jets. That offers a terrific vantage point. You've got cover, you got everything you could want. You can peek out, shoot the whole time. But the whole point is you don't want to hammer it into your target and then overheat yourself. You're there to support that brawler. So somebody asked me about ghost heat. Now if I do this, that's 60%. Well, 55 I'm standing still, but if I'm moving, it's 60% heat basically. But if I was supporting Degas in a brawl, I would do this. Much less heat, much more controllable. It does two things. One, it's a steady rate of fire, so it's putting an increasing amount of pressure on Ramus. Even though he's brawling with Degas, in the back of his mind, he recognizes he's under fire from multiple contacts, and it's a steady rate of fire. Even if I'm getting spread more because I'm firing in groups as opposed to pinpoint with everything at once in an alpha strike, it has the trade-off of increasing that pressure, causing him to stress more and potentially make more mistakes. Two, it lets me continue to fire for a longer period of time without overheating, which means I can continue to put more fire down range. I can continue to stress and suppress Ramus to a certain extent, which means I'm protecting Degas that much. Now, let's say it's the same thing. You guys, if you would, please start maneuvering again. I come up the ramp, and I notice that I notice there's other mechs at the far end. What I might do is I might leave them to fight. I'm going to shoot you, studio, but don't react. And I might go over here and I might start shooting, say, at the other mechs. Take a shot there and take a shot over here kind of thing. At that point, what I'm doing is I'm trying to suppress the other mechs and give Degas time to deal with Ramus. At that point, rather than supporting directly by shooting the targeted mech, you're trying to support by suppressing other mechs. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions so far?
So if the brawler was calling out a target, do you still want to opt for that second?
So if Degas calls Black Knight Alpha, you want to try to hit Black Knight Alpha. If he's calling a target, you need to support that because it means either A, that's the best target of opportunity, or B, he needs help, he's in over his head, he needs fire on target now. So you need to try to put fire on the Black Knight. The only time you might not is if you recognize there's several other mechs that are starting to target Degas. And if it looks like Degas and his targeted mech are evenly matched, you can try to aggro the other mechs by shooting at them, trying to pull fire off of Degas. It's a snap judgment. Generally speaking, it's better to put fire on the mech that's called out. A, it's going to take him down faster, get him out of the picture that much quicker. B, you're directly answering and helping the guy that's calling the shots. And, well, actually, that's B and C together. The only time you might not is if it's a special scenario. You look at it and you recognize it's more advantageous to shoot the other mechs or to suppress them than it is to directly fire at the one. Also, we don't have demonstrating right now because of the way we've got it set up, but you might have too many mechs. I mean, DeGoss and Willie might both be brawling Ramus. In that case, you may have a hard time getting shots on Ramus because there's too many mechs maneuvering. 3 mechs running in circles around each other shooting. It's hard for a support mech to get an accurate shot in without hitting a friendly. If I was shooting and Ramus ran across, DeGoss ran across my line of fire, I'd have to jerk my shot up to avoid putting too much damage into DeGoss and helping Ramus and basically shooting my team in the foot. So sometimes there's too many mechs pressing around the target man. At that point, instead of just watching, trying to look for a gap, just turn and start shooting the other mechs. At that point, I mean, if you can't hit the targeted mech effectively, your next best option is to suppress the other mechs. Does that make sense?
Roger.
Something I do if I'm leading a charge as a brawler is I'll try to dash to somewhere where I can get cover, because you're going to be taking a lot of punishment. But when I do that, I try to make the mechs that are shooting me turn their backs to the rest of my team so they get some back shots.
Exactly. That's a great strategy. And as you're brawling, speaking of cover, if you watch for cover, so like Ramus and DeGoss, as they're fighting, either one of them as they're fighting could gradually work their way over here to the building, for example, and then cut around the building. That cuts the support mech out of the picture. The support mech now must reposition or disengage. I would have to disengage Ramus entirely and then re-engage other mechs off to the side because I'm cut off. So as I came up the ramp, as a support mech, you want to immediately swing out from behind your brawler so you can start laying fire down range and supporting him. But you want to pick a spot where you got some cover, you have got a possible retreat. That way if your brawler gets taken out, you can flee, or you can try to reposition for a flank or whatever. But the downside is that the targeted mech may do the same thing in the opposite direction. Ramus, if I come here, Ramus may go over there, for example, and now I got to cross all this open ground to get shots back on Ramus. So generally speaking, if that happens in your support mech, let me back up here. So let's say that happens and DeGoss and Ramus end up running around the corner of a building and I can no longer hit them. Rather than crossing all that open ground, it would be better just to fade back. It's not worth it. You're going to get chewed up. You're probably going to get killed. You'll be interdicted. You'll never make it over there to support. At that point, DeGoss and Ramus are both on their own. DeGoss's team's probably in a better position to help him. And as bad as it may sound, you're going to have to ride off DeGoss. So in that case, what I do is I tell somebody, if they've done that, is I say, hey, I can no longer support you. You're on your own. And that lets them know, A, they no longer have backup. B, they need to think about getting out of there, because if the support mech can no longer reach them, it means that the other mech's team probably can. So if you ever hear me say, for example, that I can't support you, or you're too far, or I can't get to you, then you need to be thinking about getting back to the team or getting back to me, because I won't generally speaking, I won't get too far from the team because I don't want to get cut off by a light pack, for example. Now, if you are the mech that is brawling and you are the one that's getting picked on by a support mech, you want to try to find cover, you want to try to interrupt the fire coming from that support mech, and you want to try to get back to your team and lure that brawler with you if you can. Good so far?
10-4.
Okay. Now, if you are the support mech and if you realize that, let's say, other mechs push up the ramp, you realize you're outmatched, and it looks like DeGoss is taking lots of fire. Honestly, if DeGoss can escape, try to give him some cover fire. But if it looks really doubtful, I mean, you're going to have to cut him loose. It's better to lose one mech than to lose two, for example. So if DeGoss takes a hard hit and you know inwardly that there's no way he can make it out, or the chance is very, very slim, while they're focused on him, just back out discreetly, turn around, and then either A, loop back to your team, or B, if it looks like most people have pushed up the ramp, push down the side of the building and try to get into their flank so you can support your team that way. It sounds awful because you're leaving somebody behind, but in the long run, if he's not going to make it anyways, there's no point in staying to fight. Exactly, Ramus. Better to run away and live to fight another day than to die today. Exactly. It's just better not to lose two mechs. And if you leave while he's still alive, their attention's on him. They may not notice you slip away. When it's done, they'll be like, where'd that Warhammer go? They'll be looking around going, I don't see it. How did he disappear so fast? The reality is, I didn't stay the whole time. I left at some point. They don't know how long it was, so they don't know how far you could have traveled. They don't know what direction you went. All of a sudden, they're going to fan out to start looking. They're going to spread out some. And your chances of getting away are good. Now, let's say that you cannot get away. Support mechs generally tend to be a little slower. I'm moving 73 kph, which is a decent speed for a heavy, but not blazing fast. Lights and mediums can catch me. And since I'm a support mech, I'm not made for brawling, so those lights and mediums can probably tear me down. So let's say I backed up. Let's say I was fighting here in the corner supporting, and DeGoss is fixing to go down. And I back up. I see a couple mechs notice me and start coming for me. I'm going to do something along the lines of cutting around the corner. And if I think I can make it, what I'll do is I'll jump down. I'll run toward Fox 4. There's a natural choke point there. It gives me the best chance to make a last stand. If I don't think I can make it, then what I'll do is I'll huddle up here in Echo 4, and I'll try to use that as a last stand area. Because again, it's a choke point for them to come through. It won't last very long, but it's better than trying to fight them right here in the open because there's nothing I can do here. Does that make sense?
Yep.
One shot probably, but if I run around the corner, I can probably get off 2 alphas because only 1 or 2 mechs can get at me. And 2 alphas with this mech is probably enough to kill any light or medium that I come across. Alright, up here is pretty cut and dry because it's all open, not that many obstacles, but what if, let's all move over to Echo 4 Delta 4. What if you're in buildings like down here? We got 5 minutes left. I think we can do that in this time. So everybody line up here on the ridge. And then Ramos, yep, if you want to go down there with DeGoss, perfect. Alrighty, now if you two want to start fake brawling up here in all these tanks, you can. So if you're a support mech, you're supporting your buddy, and you have the choice of high or low, go high. Having higher ground gives you the advantage of being able to hit the target more reliably. Being on low ground means you have to contend with more cover. If you can't get through the covers effectively, then you're not going to be able to reliably hit your target and support your brawler. Now in this situation, it's tough. There's lots of cover even if you're high, because of all the oil tanks. So what you want to do is you want to have a spot where you can move. So you want to be able to run down here, put fire on. You never want to completely stop. You always want to keep moving. This does 2 things. One, it helps shake off any shots that might come at you from off to the side if the brawler suddenly gets a support mech. And 2, I hope I said 1 and I'm saying 2, not A and 2. That would be weird. But 2, what it also does is it lets you keep your momentum going. So that if the brawler you're trying to target, the targeting mech you're trying to target, and your brawler move to an area where you can't hit, you have enough momentum going in one direction or the other that you can now swing over to a spot where you can hit them. Otherwise, if you have to start from a complete stop, the inertia is going to slow you down. It's going to take that much extra time for you to get hits on your target. Does that make sense? Okay. Generally speaking, you don't want to jump down unless it's one of the last mechs in the game and it's a rush to get it. Or maybe you're getting hit from the side or whatever, because once you're down on the ground, you can't go back up. You got to run all the way back around. This is true anywhere. HPG, mining, Rubelite, etc. You want to maintain the upper ground as long as you can and only drop when you have to. And again, the higher ground also offers you more escape options if you have to pull back. For support, I would recommend, I just fell by accident. For support, I would recommend energy or ballistic weaponry, or LRMs if you have open ground. The main reason is suppression. RACs and UACs provide excellent suppression. LRMs, MRMs, and ATMs provide excellent suppression. Energy weapons don't suppress quite as well. They don't have the same impact as the other weapons, so people tend to ignore them a little more. But they tend to do better at their pinpoint damage and overall damage output, so they're very effective at taking out mechs. Any questions so far?
No, it's all good.
Okay, that's pretty much it, I think. After this, what I figured we could do is we could split up into some brawler support pairs and then drop in our group drop and then practice it. And then after the group drop, we do 1 or 2 each, and then we could sit down and evaluate, compare notes, see what worked and what didn't, and things we could do to improve.
Hi, Nightmare.
Hey, Lion, how are you?
Good.
All right, if you guys want, it's 2 minutes to go. Let's start killing each other.
User disconnected from your channel.
New target acquired.
The enemies are half depleted. Keep pushing. We're experiencing some losses.
Critical.
Don't get sloppy out there. Almost got them all. Clean up the survivors.
Critical. New target acquired.
Oh, it's on, Willie. Come down here and fight me like a mech.
Can you shoot up?
I can if I take my arms off. And of course, I back off on them.
Center torso critical damage. Heat level critical. Override shutdown.
Oh, you got me.
Can't lose any more soldiers. We've taken
Going high was a
critical
good
losses.
decision.
We
I
need
couldn't
you
get
to
a
pull
shot on you
through.
right away. You got several hits on me before I could.
Nice one, Ramus.
Oh, your CT still has armor on it? Really?
At 25%. Target acquired.
Wow, my screen. Oh, I see what happened. I never untargeted Ramus. Wow, I made a noob mistake.
Warning, incoming
Such a
missile.
noobish mistake. Wow. I thought your CT was open. It was Ramus that was open. Holy cow. Well, don't forget to target the right neck, guys.
We're detecting no
Guys,
more
you guys that are
hostiles.
watching.
Good job, soldiers.
It makes a heap of a difference. Oh, I can take Willie. His CT's open and it's just as badly damaged as mine.
It was a
Or is your
ruse.
friend, remember?
Yeah. Of course, Willie's on my team, so I couldn't target him. So I should
Oh,
have
yeah.
thought about that. Durr. That's what we call a brain dead moment.
Well, you'll have more.
That's a frightening marauder, though. The heat doesn't look to be too bad either.
I do like the synergy of large pulse and medium lasers, though.
Yes, I'm a big fan of that, especially large pulse and ER medium. But large and medium is pretty